I'm Caleb.
And this is Ray Vandal.
And we just watched Aquaman. What did you think, Ray?
Holy crap. I mean...
Is that a good holy crap or a bad?
Oh, damn. It was awesome.
It was
Well, let me tell you why I thought it was awesome. The special effects were like, they did not disappoint me. In fact, it is one of the best movies with special effects I have ever seen.
I'll disagree, because you can really tell when they're using CGI on the people. Like, really bad. It's terrible. You can tell.
Well, look, the water scenes were awesome where they actually show the hair in the water. And they actually go through the trouble of trying to show the particles. And also, I thought they did an awesome job with the fish monsters that kind of looked like D&D's Sahagin.
Yeah, the basically the aliens is what they were. That's immediately what I thought of when I saw them. I'm like, they're aliens from Aliens.
But that whole scene where they were fighting them.
Yeah, I liked how they're going through the spoilers, by the way, possible spoilers. How they're going through the water with the flares, even though I don't think flares work like that, but I don't know. And there's just billions of these things swarming them.
So I really thought the CGI really worked there. Now, of course, we are going to have tons of spoilers. Like
yeah, well, that's
like
why I
said.
just gave the spoiler warning.
Oh yeah, well,
before we really start, maybe I should give a plot synopsis, or you want to give a plot synopsis?
Okay. Well, basically, we have Arthur, who was unfortunately trapped in the Justice League movie, which sucked. But this is after that. People are aware of him.
Yeah, sort of, kind of. I mean, we get an origin story, but it's just like, bam, go out there and do a thing, be a hero. Okay.
But I will say this. You know, they pretty much told the story about how his mother and father were from two different worlds. And then we learn when he's really young, for, you know, really good reasons, she went back to Atlantis. And so he's left with his father. But there is this Atlantean mentor that shows up.
Yeah, that's kind of like, you're not explaining that he's there to be a mentor. He's just, okay, yeah, this guy's here teaching him shit. But we don't really introduce him. We just kind of say his name a couple of times before he's actually on screen. I thought that was dumb.
Well, he was called the Vizier, which means, you know, pretty much had the king's ear.
Yeah, basically he's the royal advisor of what Vizier
But,
is.
you know, it's William Dafoe.
I'm worried about the battery, so...
It's William Dafoe, so I really expected him to slap on that Green Goblin outfit and start.
Yeah, I actually didn't realize that's who that was until I was like, oh, that's why he.
For some reason, I'm like, I bet Cassie has no clue.
No,
so
I
wasn't going to say anything.
But I mean, it's been a couple of years since I've seen the guy.
It's William Dafoe. Well, it's William Dafoe.
But it's also me. I don't even know anything about anything. I was like, oh yeah, that one guy who did a thing and played this guy. Okay, yeah, I know who you're talking about now. I don't know what the fuck his name is, but I know who he is.
well, basically, one thing leads to another, and Arthur, Aquaman, who's shown that he does have the power to talk to not only fish, but sharks and other dangerous things from the sea, which I like that they did that. They established that, you know, he wasn't, they weren't trying to do the wimpy type character.
Well, yeah, but that's, no, that's mostly thanks to Robot Chicken, from what I've understood. But anyway.
Yeah, and other sources. But he, basically, he has a half-brother, and he wants to rule the ocean.
And then kick the land's ass.
Yeah, he wants to destroy the
And that's pretty much what the conflict is.
And, of course, there's also a side B with Black Manta.
Which we'll get into, because I was kind of sad about that. But anyway, it's plot synopsis.
Okay, so let's go with the first main thing, which is Aquaman himself. I love the rendition of of Aquaman in this movie. Momoa does a wonderful job of really making Aquaman badass, and he said that's what he wanted to do because
because this guy looks like he bench presses for a living. I mean, if he's gonna throw around like parts of a submarine, like, he kind of needs to look like he can do that.
And he's got the cool tattoos, and he's also they have some kind of
do the tattoos have any symbolism?
Yeah, they're supposed to, and they have the scales and everything.
Okay,
I'm not exactly sure what all the symbolism is, but I guess if you really look online, you will. I'm sure there are hundreds of thousands of people that will tell you all about it.
I just didn't know if they were like for a specific Atlantean reason, or just because they looked cool.
Well, now his mother seemed to have some of those similar tattoos.
Well, so did his dad on his arm.
So I would say that some of them could like represent both sides.
Okay. Because I mean, they look very tribal, so
because they make a big deal of calling him a half-breed. So, and that keeps coming up over and over.
Well, not really until you get to the Atlantis part, and then they're just kind of like, oh yeah, he's a half-breed, fuck him. And I'm just like, okay, this seems a little too contrived. Why couldn't he just be, hey, he's an outsider, let's fuck him over because he's a dickhole?
Well, because they wanted to make sure that they knew that it was from the shamed
land
queen that was sacrificed, supposedly,
and the land too.
Yeah, but that as well. But of course, there's moments where they're not afraid to make fun of Aquaman being brutish and not that smart at times.
But that also seems like, I don't know, I'm just like, couldn't you do a better job of that? Because that really, like, I'm like, really? Oh, he's made a pee joke if she wanted water. No.
Well, I took it that he was actually trying to be serious. I would. I'm like, why didn't I just pee on it?
Why would you even think to do that?
Because instead of her using all the magical power, okay, there's this totem that they got to get for really good reason. And
spoiler, you need water to activate it.
You have to have water. So Mira, who shows up
pretty early with no rhyme or reason, she's just there. Oh, you gotta come and be our king. Why do you want him to be king? You don't know who the fuck this guy is. There's a lot of stuff where you just kind of be like, okay, this is happening now, and it's not really explained.
Well, here's what I got from that. Volto, of course, the mentor / vizier.
Vizier, not vizier.
Vizier. Apparently, he's talked to her and he's talked to him, so she's on the loop on that. She knows who he is.
Yeah, but you kind of need to show that, not just expect people to figure this shit out.
Well, here's what happened. I figured it out.
Well, good for you, because I'm sitting there like, well, clearly she's been told some bullshit and where to go. And
you knew something was told.
Well, I have to figure this out because the movie's not telling me. It's not showing me. It's just throwing her there and throwing that one guy there. We meet this guy in a flashback, and I'm like, who the fuck is this guy? How do we know him? When did he show up? How long has he been teaching this dude?
Well, they do kind of show him transition as he grows up over the years.
Yeah, but that still doesn't explain why we suddenly have this guy that we've been talking about that we're meeting in the flashback. Why couldn't we like have a scene of the queen going, hey, I want you to secretly go and teach my first son how to be one of his people because he's, Atlantean as well. And he needs to know that. It's important.
Well, we don't know if she did that or he decided to do that on his own or both.
I mean, that would have been nice. I mean, we could have had that as a character building moment.
But this movie is pretty long and it does show a lot.
Yeah.
And okay, so Mira shows up and Mira has all these powers to manipulate.
Yeah, she's basically a waterbender. There you go.
And they pretty much show, in the comic books they've shown, there's other I've only seen the female characters be able to do the water bending, but then they had one male that could do it, so I think it's just a certain line.
Okay.
Gets the water bending.
Maybe like her lineage or something.
Yeah, it's got to be something like that. But now they've come up with a big story. Now you notice now a lot of the other lineages can't really talk to animals, so
yeah.
They're working on it now to explain it better, because that might be in the next movie about how this is so, and he kind of got it from his mother, but there's something really big to it, which DC's working on now.
But anyway, back to the movie.
But anyway, like I said, I think that'll be in the second movie, so just take that Arthur can talk to animals. And like I said,
well, that's always part of it. Like that, I understand. Like that's a skill unique to him, and we show him using it for probably one of the first times when he's distressed by some assholes picking on him for talking to the fish. And I'm like, yeah. It's not so funny when the shark is ready to beat your asses.
That was cool when the shark was trying to break the glass. That would freak me out.
What did you think of the music in the movie? I didn't really like it.
Well, you know, I really like some of the main soundtrack music.
I didn't think any of the music was really all that great.
But you know, it didn't bother me. But what I did like, well, let's go on to another character. So they go down there, and Ocean Master. He's not Ocean Master yet, but he's going to be. He wants to be the Ocean Master. He wants to get the 7 kingdoms. He wants all the kingdoms together so they can wage war on the surface. So if he can get them all to go along, he's the Ocean Master, blah, blah, blah. He pretty much hates his older brother, Arthur, and he calls him half-breed constantly. And that guy you pretty much get into, and he just, you know, literally he blames him for their mother's death.
Yeah.
So that's why there's all this hatred, and he also seems to kind of have let this spread out for him wanting to destroy the surface world. So he's a very driven guy with hatred. He wants power, seems to be his main thing. He wants power so he can control everything.
You know something I just now realized they never actually touched upon, but they brought it up in the movie, but they never really went back to it after she said this. When they're having the big fight between Aquaman and his brother for the throne, Mira mentions that seems awfully convenient that sub interrupted their meeting and just blew shit up. And I'm like, okay, yeah, I agree, that seemed awfully convenient. To me, it felt like they were leaning to maybe her dad had set that up, because like she said, he wanted the war, and I'm just kind of like, I don't know, but that's an interesting side plot if he is actually a bad guy.
Well, Black Panther was paid money for that.
Yeah,
you know,
but that was the king doing all that, though.
But who says the other king didn't just go along with it? Or see, that you don't know.
Well, yeah.
And they may have done that on purpose.
Maybe, but I mean, that's kind of a big plot hole to just leave for another movie or just not to come back to.
Well, it depends upon if it's like the main.
That would have been good sequel bait if they would have, instead of showing Black Manta in the middle of the ocean. Sorry, I didn't mean to spoil that part.
Yeah, you kind of missed. But we did warn for spoilers.
Yeah, I mean, I'll probably bleep that part out, but I mean, you know, lesser spoilers.
Well, the whole thing is they have to go through all these trials and tribulations, and they're trying to get the trident. And I will say this, I love the big monster that you see.
Yeah, except that that made me think of another movie, and that was Cloverfield.
kind of.
And I'm like, did they watch Cloverfield and Aliens while making this? And that's what they came up with? They just,
Well,
we'll just reuse these things.
I really think that one would beat Cloverfield and Aliens.
But it looks similar to the Cloverfield monster.
Because it just seems like impervious.
No, I mean, like, really, once you see its face, I'm like, that looks like Cloverfield monster.
It didn't remind me of it too much, a little.
I mean, I'm gonna have to maybe, like, get a screenshot or something and compare it.
Yeah,
Because, I mean, to me, it looked similar.
What we need to do is compare and contrast one day, and we'll do Cloverfield, Monster from Aquaman, and we'll see if...
It was the Corinthian?
I don't remember
what the name is
yeah, it had some name, but I'm like, you know, they could have just called it the Kraken, same difference. I mean, this impervious monster from the sea.
The trench.
From the trench. And like I said, the fish people monsters, they're awesome. They're everywhere.
Yeah, but they also make me think of aliens. So just imagine, if you haven't seen this movie, imagine a massive amount of aliens from Aliens, like an impossible number that can swim in
thousands.
In the sea.
And they swim with skulls too. They swim with skulls.
But then they merge together, and there's like millions, maybe even trillions of these things.
And it's
there are lots of them.
It's like you can't kill enough.
It's literally like them. They decided to make this part a horror movie.
And that's pretty much when they pull a play out of the Monty Python playbook. Run away! Run away! Swim away!
Run away!
Swim away! I mean, there's not much. Well, you know, I'll say this. I guess Superman could have beat him up, but Superman
maybe, but that's DC. This is Marvel.
No. This is DC.
Oh wait. Oh right. Sorry. I'm getting my universes confused.
Oh boy, you're gonna get hate mail from comic nerds. You're
I don't
finished.
give a shit.
You're finished.
I watched the '90s cartoons. I didn't read.
You're gonna get the comic guy that's like,
ow, fuck me. I just stabbed myself in the eye with my glasses.
Douchey McNitwit, and he's going, how dare you! Marvel Comics is clearly Neymar, and DC is Aquaman, blasphemer! Well, your house might...
My house might blow up.
It might blow up. They might try to assassinate.
Oh, that's okay. I'll just make sure Joe and Steve are shoved in there, and they can blow up. Me and Jason will be fine.
No, I don't know. I don't know. I mean, they're.
Well, Joe and Steve are sort of like cockroaches, so I guess maybe they will die by being blown
up. Some of the comic fans are like the Evangelion bunch.
Yeah, but not everybody. Not all of them are crazy.
No, but I'm sure you pissed off some people with that. But anyway, but basically it boils down to Arthur having this big, huge challenge for the second time, mind you.
Yeah, at the end, once he finally has the trident of awesome.
So they have this big battle, so we're not going to give that away.
Yeah.
And that's pretty much...
Yeah, the end of the movie.
Side A.
Yeah.
Side B,
Black Mana stuff happens, and
Black Mana.
I don't know. I'm like, I don't really think we really should have like had Black Mana. I think we already established like plenty of other stuff going on. That just kind of had go in. You know, it's kind of like the other stuff. Go in there. You're on now.
Well, here's the thing. They definitely wanted to put Black Man in there for fans like me that absolutely, positively love Black Mana.
Yeah.
And Black Mana, the whole beef with him, of course, they've retconned it over the years. But Black Mana becomes a major factor later if they stick with the comics. But I'll get to that in a minute. But him and his father are pirating, and they're actually getting the stuff that they use later to kind of stage this whole Atlanta has to fight the surface thing. So Aquaman shows up and pretty much defeats their entire crew of pirates, and is beating the father and son, and he's pretty much going to leave them to their own devices. And then Black Man, his father, gets trapped, and he begs him for mercy, and he says, look, you guys didn't have mercy, you killed innocent people, you're pirates.
You're on your own.
Yeah, you're on your own. And of course, you know, his father dies, and
which, you know, I'm like, that's understandable why that guy would be pissed off and want to go kick his ass.
Yeah, they give the villain a really good motive.
Yeah, because the hero of the story is kind of a dick.
He is. And of course, later he's like, I really screwed up on that.
Yeah, because it came to bite you back in the ass, and you're like, well, fuck me, I could have lost somebody I cared about. Though, even though I've only known her for like maybe a couple of weeks at this point.
Well, they've always made that in the comic, and they tried to put that in the movie. Him and her meeting, and it's like love at first sight, one of those deals. It's always been that way. But I'm just saying that's how it goes with the story.
Either way, it's a movie with a contrived romance just thrown in there because, we gotta have a romantic kiss or some bullshit.
Yeah.
And we gotta do it in a sexy way, even though that doesn't make sense in the heat of battle.
I like how they make out underwater.
That was a lot of... I was sitting there like, really? Really? With the sexy pose? You're fighting off like two different armies, guys.
I liked it because, you know, her red hair.
Yeah, but see, that's the whole point. You were supposed to be jacking off in the theater to that. I'm sitting there like, this is fucking stupid. Fight your battle, not make out.
Hey, I would have done the same thing as Arthur. Give me my guys. Pause the battle.
Only in a movie will the battle happen around you while you have your romantic sexy kiss.
Well, I would try that for real. That'd probably be a serious mistake on my part.
Yes, it would. You would die quickly and horribly.
Well, you know.
Maybe not quickly, but at least horribly.
Well, now getting back to Black Manta. Of course, Black Manta, he says all he really wants is revenge. Because his father's like, you know, kill this bastard. And
yeah, his dad is actually like, I don't get, if I'm gonna die, you kill that dude that left me here to die. I'm like, okay, fair enough. This guy's badass.
And you know, and Arthur means that he's like, and you're his dad, and you taught your son to act this way. Shame on you. So he knows what they are.
Yeah, but ironically, that's what he was doing too. Even though his dad taught him, I would think, taught him better than that, and he had better teachers than just leaving a guy to die.
Well, you know, that's what I like about it is they kind of throw in one of those kind of Aesop fable type stories into it.
But they don't really do a good job explaining that he's learned his lesson. He just kind of does that because he's supposed to by that point.
Well, anyway.
You don't want to fight me on that?
No, I'm not going to fight you on that because, you know, I think they do a pretty good story of setting up that because it's going to be a major deal later. But anyway, the Atlanteans give Black Man equipment, and of course he modifies it and everything, showing he's pretty smart. Of course, they call them techno pirates anyway. So he makes this really bad.
Did they? I just think they just said pirates.
No, they actually said they were techno pirates.
Okay, I didn't hear that.
On the newscast, and they were notorious.
Oh, I
really
must have missed that. I mean, I know they were talking about it, but I missed the techno.
Yeah, they said techno pirates.
Oh, okay.
So you know, he's got the laptop, and it's like he's almost digitally printing some of this stuff and adding to it, and it looks really cool. They did a great job at Black Manta's outfit. Of course, it's supposed to withstand.
I know they did a great job with it, and they kept it the way it was in the comics. But seeing it like in a live action movie just emphasizes how ridiculous it actually is, and I'm just like, I can't. This seems like a really bad, like a monster from Sentai, is what it kind of makes me think of.
He was pretty badass though.
He was badass. It's just that I'm like, that costume really doesn't work in real life. That's why it's a comic book.
Well, you know, it's actually, but the lasers from the eyes.
Yeah.
That's freaking awesome. Okay, if you wanted to use a Sentai, they give him a lot of weapons.
Yeah, and basically he becomes, Kamen Rider. Except if Kamen Rider, instead of having a bug mask helmet thing, he basically was a flying saucer with eyes.
And I like how they show him and Mara. Mara's fighting, Atlantean soldiers.
Yeah.
And they keep going back and forth as they're on the rooftops.
Yeah, that's sort of cool.
One thing I think this movie really mastered was transition. They tried to do transition without it being, cutscenes. And
Yeah, but at the same time, it felt maybe a little, what's the word I'm looking for, like, overproduced. Like, it's cool if you want to try to, like in the aquarium, we're going through, we're showing, like after she dived into the sea, and then we're flash forwarding through that cutscene into Arthur at the aquarium, and then that doing thing, and then we go back through like the glass, which they made an effect for the going through the glass part, and back into the water, and then the sub and stuff. And I'm like, okay, maybe a little too much, but okay, that's cool.
I still liked it.
I mean, yeah, it's all right, but I don't know. I think my problem was the first part went maybe a little too quickly, and maybe we had maybe a little too much thrown at us that I think would have been better if we had slowed it down just a touch and approached it in a more natural narrative rather than, here you go, here's this shit, now here's this shit, and boom, this shit.
Now now I'm gonna interject with this real quick. It is a very long movie.
Yeah. Again, there's not really a reason for it to be that long. We went in at basically 10 o'clock. We got out at 1.
Well, they do put in a lot of stuff, and I think most of it it looks cool. I really was not bored watching with this movie at all. And
I don't think I was bored, but I was just kind of like, I'm kind of done now. Can we be finished? No, the movie's still going? Okay.
Well,
I mean, I could watch it again if I had to, but I didn't really think it was anything great.
Well, we'll get to that in a minute. But what I want to say about Black Man is pretty much, since my sister already mentioned that, they pretty much make it clear that Black Manta will be back.
Yeah. Well, I was going to blip that out, but okay. Well, just leave it in then.
And in the comics, I'm not saying they're going to do this in the movie, but the reason...
Can we turn the heat down? I'm kind of toasty.
The reason Black Manta becomes such like the main villain is that Mara and Arthur have a child, and one thing leads to another, and Black Manta is responsible for killing the child. So it becomes this big, huge...
Didn't they like do something where he actually didn't do that? I've done some Wikipediaing, but that doesn't mean it's true.
Well, they retconned this and they retconned that, but that was the original story, and who knows what they're going to use. I mean, it's all free game.
Yeah.
So, like I said, I don't know if they'll do that, but that makes the hatred even deeper.
Well, yeah, I'd be kind of pissed off if somebody killed my kid.
Well, plus, it makes
of course, I'd also be pissed if somebody killed my dad. So, as a story plot, you can empathize. I can't talk. You know what I mean? You feel empathy.
Well, you do, but then you see Black Manta just killing all these people.
Yeah, but that still doesn't mean you don't have empathy when his dad passed on.
Yeah.
Of course, his dad was just like, yeah, you kill that fucker.
It's I don't know. To me, it's kind of like I had just a little empathy, but not way too much when like Boba Fett's dad got beheaded, Jango Fett.
Yeah, I didn't give a shit then. I don't give a shit now.
Well, I mean, he's a...
But then again, I could have cared less about Star Wars.
Okay, well, the whole point is he's a ruthless bounty hunter, and he killed all these people, so, how sorry are you going to feel for him?
I don't know. I can feel pretty sorry for a character no matter what kind of evil shit they've done.
Well,
but, I mean, it has to be done in the right way to understand their motivations, I guess.
I will say this, though. At the end, Aquaman still looks badass. They do some old school stuff, but they really make him look cool.
I mean, I know, again, it comes from the comic book, but I just want to comment that much like Black Mana's head and his costume looks weird in live action, so does Aquaman's armor outfit. I'm just like, eh.
I liked it. I mean,
it looked like what it was supposed to, but I'm just saying that I don't think it translates well to live action.
Well, let me put it this way.
Again, comic books.
I loved Black Manta live action. This is why. He was supposed to always stand out in the comic. And
well, I'm not saying that it's bad. I'm just saying you could tell that it wouldn't work in real life. It's because it's a movie and comic books, but it just adds to the fact that you're like, yeah, there's no way you could actually fight with a helmet like that.
Well, they explain, Atlantean technology, and they've done this.
But either way, that still doesn't change the fact that it looks dumb. But you understand why it looks dumb.
I never thought Black Manta looked dumb. I always thought he looked scary and cool as all get out.
I never really thought he looked scary, but I haven't really read Aquaman.
I always thought he was, especially those eyes, because I knew he could just fry somebody with those eyes. And I always thought that was cool.
I think it would have been neater if, instead of getting all the shit from the Atlanteans, if he could have figured out, based on what his father did and his fight with Aquaman, if he had made all that shit himself instead of just modifying it.
I think in the comic book he does, but
I think that's cooler. I mean, not to say that he still wasn't badass when he modified it to suit his tastes and his fighting style, but I think that would have been cooler if he.
Of course, it might have been that he stole some of that too, technology. Which, I think they're trying to really hurry the movie along.
Yeah. But I mean, that's like, we were at 11, 12, 1. That's like almost a 3-hour movie. Not quite 3 hours, because we stayed for the credits, which, if you're staying for the credits, don't, because they're eat shit after you see the whole thing with Black Manta.
But stay for Black Manta, if you want to. And they also, I think that one guy is another possible Aquaman villain. I can't think of his name, but
the crazy scientist guy?
Yeah. Because Aquaman does have quite a few.
Does he have anybody who's just obsessed with Atlantean technology? I mean, to me, Black Manta is the most prevalent, but I'm also not really a fan of Aquaman.
Oh, there's one. I'm trying to think of his name, and he might be him. He's got like this deep six suit on, and he's obsessed with technology and everything. So that's why I'm thinking maybe him, but I could be wrong. But
I don't remember what they said his name was when they would do the TV interviews.
But, unlike what my sister said, I really was impressed with the graphics. I looked at all the companies that worked on this. But now I was really impressed with, the sharks and the seahorses.
We've talked about what I've disliked and what you really liked, but was there anything you really didn't like?
Well, let me finish up the CGI. And I like the Last Kingdom that they tried to get to join them, the lobster crab guys, and the giant crabs. So there is this big huge battle, and I think they do as good of a job as they can of doing all that, and I think it looks cool. So I liked special effects. She wasn't as impressed, but again, I was just impressed by all the CGI companies. And if there's some stuff that might look a little muddled, that could be it, because you got so many people trying to work together.
Well, that, and you have to try and do CGI in motion. Like my hands zooming back and forth. Yeah. If you have to do that in CGI, you got to try and make that look as good as possible, but that just might not be possible.
But I really liked how their hair was constantly moving in the water.
Well, yeah, I mean, it's going to float.
But they look good.
I do like that the Atlanteans had unique hairstyles. They seem Asian-based.
Yeah.
And so I thought that was cool that they tried to show the differences, not just in how they dress or fight or with the dragon seahorse things, but also like in how they styled their hair.
And it was kind of cool because you got the dragon seahorses, and when they first show them, they're like seahorses, but then they kind of look like dragons in the face.
Yeah.
And I'm like, all right, this is pretty cool. And the sharks were cool. Of course, the Vizier shows he's riding the hammerhead shark, that was pretty cool. So
which is also metaphorical considering his role in the story.
Yeah, I mean, okay. Now, was there anything that I did?
Yeah, you especially did not like.
Well, I don't know about especially, but I had some. I thought that there were moments where Aquaman was funny, and then there were times, like you said, it was a little contrived. But I see what they're trying to do. They don't want to make him this biggest badass ever, because then nobody would really sympathize him with him.
But at the same time, it's you could tell that they're like holding their breath. Like there were several times where, like they paused the moment and like, oh yeah, see, that was a joke. You were supposed to, that got you. And I'm like, no, you made it entirely obvious that.
A lot of movies like to do that, and
but they do it maybe once, not like at least three times.
Well, the difference is if you do it in a comedy, kind of like...
This isn't really a comedy.
It's not supposed to be, but they're trying to like...
And I think we would have been better without it.
But they even made Arthur by the joke of Justice League more, which I thought that they used it too much. Once or twice was very funny. But I will say this. It is a vast improvement and I'm excluding Wonder Woman, to all the DC movies. It is vast improvement to that crap that was called Batman vs Superman. Any of you purists out there, the movie sucked. Batman vs Superman was horrible.
Okay, Ray, it's okay. Calm down.
Justice League, oh my God, was that a disappointment? That's like opening up a present expecting a bike. Instead, you got
a turd.
No, it's like coal glued together to look like a bike. You were fooled.
It's coal glued.
It looked like it could be a good movie, but when we see some of the worst special effects I've ever seen, and that movie had bad special. If you want to see bad, watch that movie. You'll have plenty to bitch about for hours. But
well, I got Resident Evil for that.
But now, especially because of stuff like then they had the show on IGN, X-Play, where host Adam Sexler would constantly
Sessler, in case people don't know who that is,
would constantly give Aquaman hell and make fun of his ability to talk to fish, and they did the whole badass thing on purpose to try to get people back into Aquaman.
Yeah, but I mean, Aquaman is supposed to be like again, great white shark coming at you. That's terrifying. Like literally trying to break the glass to kick your ass because you pissed off somebody who could have a decent conversation with them.
Well, true, but even. But Robot Chicken would even make fun of that. And the only animal, all the sea creatures would ignore him except for the little seahorses.
But anyway, back on track.
But they do make, in the 60s, before all the Super Friends junk, Aquaman was a badass. He had his own cartoon, which was nothing like Super Friends. Of course, Black Manta was the main bad guy, and he was based off of the Black Panther movement too. But they made him even more across the board than that. So, I guess all I can say is if you're really wanting to see Aquaman and you've been a fan and you want to see him elevated, this is the movie for you. But now, here's what I want us to do. I want us to say yes or no as far as the movie goes. I'll let...
Yes or no?
Yeah.
Like if you would see it?
Recommend it or don't recommend it?
I can recommend it, but I would say maybe be a fan of Aquaman before you go see it, because I really know very little about it. And so, to me, it's a mediocre movie. It's not really that great. There are some great concepts. I like the look of the guy playing Aquaman. That's about it.
Well, you know, I that's a major breakthrough for Cassie to even recommend a Western comic book movie, as she would refer to it.
Well, yeah, but I could recommend a couple more, honestly.
Well, yeah, we actually really did like the Sam Raimi Spider-Man.
So I mean, that's not really a once in the blue moon thing.
Well, it is for DC movies, let me tell you.
Well, yeah, they haven't had the best track record. But I guess maybe that's what's pissed me off, is they're trying... Like, I watched Avengers, I liked Avengers, I didn't like some of the quips, like, maybe too many, too hard to have, like, that one small funny moment every couple of, handful of minutes. And it seems like that's what all the movies are trying to do now that involve superheroes. Like, we gotta be funny like the Avengers and have, like, super small quips that are hilarious. And I'm like, no, don't do that. Like, you can have a fine movie without that.
Well, here's the quips. Yeah, I'll say, you know, sometimes they work, sometimes they don't. And I really can't complain about much else. I mean, I understand that the pacing seems quick, but I liked it.
I mean, really at first, and then they're like, okay, now we're in the other thing I didn't really like, because I'm like, well, thanks, I guess we're reading a storybook, is every time we go to a new place, or go somewhere else, as they like to say in the movie, yellow text just pops up on screen, like, oh yeah, we're here by now, we're at this place, in case you're too stupid to follow along.
Well, like when they went to Italy, they didn't say where they were going, so I wouldn't have known. They had an old ancient map.
Yeah, but see, then you can see, like, the flag or something. You can drop hints that the viewer's like, oh, I see the flag, they're in Italy.
Well, maybe I'm just as dense as Aquaman, and I need to be told.
I hope you are smarter than Aquaman in most of these cases.
So maybe I need to be told where we're going. A lot of people do. They have a GPS.
You know who's one of the real heroes of this whole thing in that movie? That Italian lady.
Oh yeah.
Where they drop into her house. And,
yeah, that poor lady.
And I'm like, if I was that lady, I would have got the hell up and ran the hell out of that room. She just stays sitting on her couch watching this shit. And then Aquaman's like, excuse you, and then he gets his ass kicked through a wall.
Well, you know, honestly, there's really not much you can do about it.
Well, I guess not, but I would have fled. I would not have sat there and just kind of been like,
you know,
Tuesday.
I might just sat there because it was so weird, because I'm like, what the hell's going on here? We got this guy who looks like some kind of fish mana thing, and this guy with tattoos and long hair. And let me put this, Black Manta, when he gets the tech from Atlantis, he beats the hell out of Aquaman.
Oh yeah, Aquaman still beats him, but I think it's pretty cool.
I mean, yeah, he gets pissed off and just screws up Black Manta.
Yeah.
I mean,
I'm like, how's that dude alive? Like, that armor must be really good, because he hit so many clips on the way down.
Well, they kind of showed it a little bit, but of course, like I've said, the comic goes into it more about how it was also modified to withstand and as we, you know, any punch that Aquaman can give him, and as we're shown, he can pick up a freaking submarine. Now, especially in the old, like the 1960s Aquaman, and I think the rendition now, he is very strong. He's not quite Superman strong, but he can lift a lot of heavy objects. Sometimes bullets bounce, some things bounce, some don't. He can kind of heal fast. I mean, Aquaman is no slouch. So that would explain why, Black Man would tweak this and that, because he, give himself more strength, more endurance, because it's Aquaman. He's gonna need it, because him and his dad already got, well, one died and the other didn't. I mean, he owned them. So, but now, as for me saying yes or no, I say yes. If you like, especially with what's going on with Avengers.
Yeah, if you like the Marvel movies, I think you'll enjoy this.
A lot of people who are into comic books that just like the superhero movies, I think they'll like this one, because this one is a lot better than what DC has offered, except for Wonder Woman. Wonder Woman is pretty good, but it had some flaws. I don't think Aquaman has as many flaws as Wonder Woman. Now, Wonder Woman was a great movie.
Yeah, well, just because it had flaws doesn't mean it wasn't.
Yeah.
I don't think you need to clarify that.
Well, and especially, I'm surprised it took so long, I guess because it was a female character, which sounds terrible, but I bet it's true, to get her own movie, when she's always been famous, ever since the 40s. She had a big show in the 70s, and I liked all the monsters in it. I thought that was awesome. Generally, I thought the special effects were very good. There might be some moments here and there, but I really enjoyed it. Loved the sharks, by the way, and loved the big monster that my sister swears up and down must be copied from Cloverfield. But
it looks quite similar to the Cloverfield dudes.
We are going to do a compare and contrast to that. We'll see.
I mean, maybe I'm just I mean, it's been a while since I looked at the Cloverfield monster, but it just made me think of Cloverfield.
Maybe we'll also throw in Gamera and Godzilla.
Not really. I mean, yeah, inspired maybe by a lot of giant monster movies, sort of.
I guarantee that there would
like
be
that did kind of also seem like we were watching what's that movie that came out and then had a sequel to it? Well, Dave made me watch it, and I don't remember what it is.
Well, that narrows it down to a couple million, but
yeah, that was the American movie with the giant robot mechs fighting the aliens.
Oh yeah.
I mean, not aliens, but Pacific Rim. Yeah, a little bit of that too. I mean, basically, it just seems like they're like, okay, we're going to take what we think is cool about all these different movies and stuff, and we're going to write it down, and we're going to do that.
And I will say this, because I almost forgot about it. The scenery is gorgeous.
Yeah, when they get to that last island, like, secret place, that I like that. I thought the crystals were cool. Like, they're just growing, like, on trees and shit.
Well, I liked Atlantis because you see, like, the lights are the man-o-wars, the jellyfish, and there's so many cool things with Atlantis going on.
Yeah, I mean, you get like a lot of cityscape views, but you don't really like get to, I don't know, explore it, like really be amazed by it. You're just kind of like, ooh, pretty. That's about it.
Well, we see, and of course, like I've said before, now in the sequel, Arthur's going to be there more, so we'll probably see more.
Yeah, but it's just kind of a bummer we don't get to see it now.
Well, it's like in the original Superman movie, you only got to see so much of Krypton.
Yeah, but that's blowing up. Like, even Superman didn't really get to, once it blows up, you can't go back and look at it.
Well, so we got one. It's okay, and if you like Aquaman or comic book movies, see it from Kassie, and I definitely recommend it to anybody that likes comic book movies or like really good action movies. I think I think the kids will love it. It's PG-13. There's nothing really super duper.
Just tell them peeing on stuff is not an okay way to activate it.
Yeah, but but I will say.
At least it wasn't Ghost Rider too.
And another thing I liked, and it sounds really bad, but I like that it definitely showed that Arthur could really chug down the beer, but his dad, who was human, could always out drink him, and that was kind of fun. Yeah, I like that. That was kind of humorous. But that wasn't exactly a joke.
But that was also good to establish that him and his dad were, good friends, not just, like they were really there for each other, even though you barely saw his dad.
And there's these big monstrous guys that show up in the bar, they're going to start a fight.
Yeah.
And instead they're like, please, could you take a selfie with us? And,
then through the different pictures, it just shows him getting along with those guys the more they get drunk.
Yeah, he's really not happy to be there, and then he's kind of got a okay look, and then when they're really getting to the beer, he's like hugging them and
yeah, because at first he's like, don't touch me. Okay, sir. But by the end, they're all friends in these pictures. It's great. But I did like that.
But now that didn't feel contrived. That actually felt
because you're just. Well, I mean, them being these big bad guys and then pulling out the smartphone and then being kind of, well, it'd be really. I'm like, I don't really like that. I would have just been like, can I have a selfie with you, sir? Or take your picture or something.
Well, when you see them beat up all this stuff on TV and everything.
Well, yeah, but at the same time, I'm like, these guys are supposed to, they're badass enough to walk up to them and be like, hey, man, pat it on the shoulder.
I think they're just misunderstood. That's what I think. And Aquaman is trying to show us that, we can all get along.
So any final...
Which is what they're trying to do, because they do keep mentioning that. So, yeah, they are trying to push the heavy-handed message, but in the comic, they always did it. And, and the whole thing was to keep Atlanta and the surface world from destroying each other.
Yes, Atlanta and the rest of the world.
Atlanta.
Atlantis.
Atlanta.
Atlantis.
Atlanta is home of Marvel's, so Marvel will try to destroy DC. And
any final thoughts?
Well, I will say this: I can't wait for the sequel. I'm pretty sure this movie is going to be big enough to warrant a sequel. If it isn't, I'll be surprised, because it's already one of the biggest films ever in China. Made a bunch of money there, $100 million, which is really good for China. And it's really starting to make money here. Of course, we don't have the final numbers in. It's not Monday yet. It might be way past that once people see this. But we're going to have a second movie, and I'm pretty sure they're going to delve more into Black Manta and probably Arthur trying to get used to being a king. And I think some things also depend upon the direction that DC wants to take the universe, because if they have said that they're thinking about focusing more on the individual movies, which is what they probably should have done.
Yeah.
Instead of trying to play quick catch up with the Avengers, because they've had all kinds of problems with Batman, but that's supposed to be I think next year they're really going to start doing stuff with the movie. That's been up and down. We'll probably have a new Batman and a new Superman. And we'll see if they want to try to do any team stuff or kind of keep it individual stories. But I still see these characters intersecting some way, somehow. So, what do you think?
I think I'm tired.
Well, I know that, but but what do you think's the best bet for DC? Should they try to tie it all together, or just keep doing the one shots?
I don't think it's wrong to try to tie it all together, but you need to establish good movies first in order to have a good tie-in together movie, which should be a good movie. I mean, fundamentally, you want a good story. If you can have the worst effects in the world, but if it has a good story, people will enjoy it. And they may even comment, wow, the special effects were shit, but I had a really good time because the plot was so engaging. And
Yeah.
I think you sort of had that here, kinda, but we were so focused on copying Marvel's formula that it feels mediocre to me. Like, I've seen this before, been there, done that, I can take it or leave it, and I'd rather leave it.
Well, you know, she hasn't sat through the horrors of some of the bad DC movies.
No, I haven't, but I've seen some bad movies, and I gotta say, some of those movies were bad, but at least I could be engaged in the plot. You know, like, Warriors of Virtue always gets shit on for the story and its appearance, but I always thought that it had an interesting universe that was, you know, set up for you to understand, and that the plot was interesting, and that you had a character who, yeah, probably shouldn't have been our main character, but he goes through the arc of, like, oh, well, crap, I'm the only person who can read this book, and if I don't, this guy's gonna, like, destroy this world and possibly maybe move on to other worlds to destroy them too, all because they're addicted to a drug that makes them, like, beautiful and long-lived. And I'm like, that was a pretty good plot. And I like the whole shattering of the sword if you murder the soul if you murder somebody. I'm like, that's really interesting. I've never heard of anything like that, and I'm like, that's interesting and unique.
Well, you know,
And I think if you try to be interesting and unique rather than copying somebody else, and just have a really good plot.
and big thing with Aquaman is they try to make it a big deal of proving yourself to get the trident, which automatically made me think of he's Arthur.
Yeah.
King Arthur.
Yeah, but that's also like any story where you have to go and get the, like, ultimate weapon. You're tested.
But it's kind of interesting. His name's Arthur, King Arthur.
Well, that was the whole point of that. They even said it in the movie.
So, you know, they make it sound like, you know, it's just part of an ancient right thing, which it is, and virtue and all. And I guess the main thing was Arthur really didn't want to be the king, which is why he really deserved to be the king. And other comparisons we can make, but yeah, we do have a yes, and then a very strong yes for Aquaman. So, well,
we have more of the it's okay and I loved it, and that's about our review for the thing.
So yeah, we're gonna do it like the thumb. It's either a yay or nay.
I don't think we should do a thumbs up or not. We should just give our opinions, and that's good enough.
Well,
because we basically just said what one was yay and the other was yay.
Yes,
that was it.
That's right.
Kelvin's trying to make this harder than it needs to be.
No, it was more like yay and yeah. Holy shit! Oh hell!
I don't think it deserved all that.
And my sister just had a little fat yay.
It's like, yeah, I spent $5 to watch a mediocre movie. Yay!
That's a lot better than spending $5 to watch a really bad movie.
At least I didn't spend it on Twilight or 50 Shades of Grey.
Or
I'm not spending my hard-earned money on that bullshit.
I've never felt so alive until I became dead.
And that's how we're ending this.
Yes, that's the well. Actually, I would like to come up with some kind of really smart poetic reference from Moby Dick or the Tempest or something.
It's been since middle school since I read Moby Dick.
But I really can't, and but there are whales in it. I can say that much. And dolphins.
Which, actually, they have that scene where he is like doing the dolphin thing, and I'm like, that would be cool if dolphins weren't assholes that want to rape you.
Well, they showed that they could be real badass and kill a bunch of Atlanteans too.
Yeah, but the dolphins do that. They're not very nice.
You don't screw with dolphins. They will screw you. Okay, that's my quote.
So I'm Caleb.
And I am Ray Vandal.
And this has been whatever the fuck we're putting this under. I think sort of talk time, but probably more a movie night kind of thing. I'll figure it out later.
Well, I wanted Ray Vandal is always right, but I'm pretty sure she won't go along with that.
No. No. Kelvin isn't always right, and don't believe him. He's lying to you.
I am a critic. I have been ordained with
You are a news reporter, boy. You are a news reporter.
I review stuff here and there, so that makes me special. I got the gift, the talent.
Yeah, I was told that too. That was with writing.
And that was
so I'm better than you.
so that means something if you're a critic.
I review books.
It means you're never wrong. And everybody else is.
Bye, everybody.
Bye.